All right, hello, happy Tuesday. Or Thursday, happy Thursday. I think I lost some days, busy week. Sort of reflecting on what to talk about, and this phrase is coming up several times this week, and a little bit in Daisen today. The Heart Sutra says, do not judge by any standards. Do not judge by any standards. And there's so many pitfalls in that, because it doesn't mean don't have any standards. And it doesn't mean don't have good judgment. I spent a lot of time, I went to a college that was Guilford College in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was Quaker school. It was on 200 acres. It was very much a hippie, and at least in the 90s, it was very much a hippie college. It's all good, man. Right? Smoke weed all day, it's all good. Right? I don't judge you. We don't judge each other. That doesn't feel quite right. Right? On the other hand, we gotta have standards, we gotta have outcomes, we gotta have measures, we gotta, it feels rigid. So, the sutras are attributed to the Buddha. So what are we talking about? Do not judge by any standards. It means don't be stuck in any fixed place. It's not one square inch on which to stand. There's nowhere to be. The bad news is that if you do this long enough, I'm going to throw you out of a plane without a parachute. The good news is there's no ground. So that's a different path. The middle way is a phrase that's frequently used, but it's not the halfway point between anything. It's a separate path. Because the tendency of the human mind is to try to find the tactic, to find the path. I have to figure out who I am. I have to figure out who I'm called to be, right? And on the one hand, we do have bodies and forms, and so we do have tendencies and talents and gifts and things we enjoy and things we don't, I like to play guitar. Luan likes to play upright bass. If you give me an upright bass, which he did one time, even though I have some sense of the notes, I can't do anything with it, right? So we do have a form. We do have things we prefer. It's not nihilism. But if you, I'd really encourage you next time you're at work or next time you're in a cafe, whether it's crowded or a train station, just listen. Listen to the conversations. Listen to the way that the people around you are orienting their response to life to a fixed self, right? They're weaving a story of me. And they're responding to what's happening, because things happen, right? Time passes and things occur. And the trick is, how do I not weave that into the story of me in which I'm either the victim, the villain, or the hero? Because there's no fixed self. That's what the Buddha realized. Right? So there's no fixed self. So if there's no fixed self, there is no story. There's no fixed story of me. So I can't sell you the right story of me. There's a lot of spiritual teaching content out there that essentially is, well, if you just buy into this story of you, then you'll get all the things that you want. But this is why people don't flock to Zen, right? Because Zen teachers say things like, I can promise you that you will lose everything that you ever have or know, that you will experience illness, and that you will die. It's like, wow, that's really depressing. Well, if you let it be, it is, but also it's really liberating. Because meanwhile, none of that's happened, right? The evening gatha, when we do retreat and we meditate into the night, at the very end of the night, you hit this wooden block. It's very kind of austere sounding, and then you say, "Let me respectfully remind you, life and death are of extreme importance. Time swiftly passes by, and opportunity is lost. Each of us should strive to awaken. Awaken, take heed, do not squander your life." Right? So how do you not squander your life? Well, by not judging by any standards. Because if you don't judge by any standards, then you're not carried along on the train of always weaving everything that happens into the story of you. So now you're free. Now you can exist, and you, instead of being the movie that's playing, you're the screen. And you can just see the movie and be like, okay, that's the movie that's playing right now. What is the appropriate action to be of benefit to myself and everyone involved, given the scene that has unfolded in front of me? And sometimes it's easy, right? Sometimes there's a stray cat on the porch, or there's a child with a skinned knee, or there's, it's obvious what to do. Other times it's someone who showed up and poured a raft of criticism onto you, and it's unjustified, and they're being a total Karen right now, right? Or whatever. I think everyone should be condemned to work in customer service for at least a couple of years, because will change the way they relate to people who work in, as the face of whatever entity they represent. I worked in frontline retail sales for Apple for 6 years. People would come and yell at me because they didn't back up their photos. It's like, well, I'm so sorry, truly. I'm truly sorry that your wedding photos are gone. And if data is only in one place, it doesn't exist. I wouldn't say it to them like that. I'd say, well, there are recovery options, they're expensive. We can, try to help you. I can sell you a external hard drive. I can sell you cloud storage, we could try to do something different. But we don't have to get woven into the story of me. And you can be an agent for change. You can be an agent for healing. You can be a benefit to all beings just by being in the place where you are allowing events to unfold. People may accuse you of, oh my God, you're so calm. It's like, well, when things are sad, I'm sad. When things are happy, I'm happy. When things are stressful, I'm stressed. I know that that's impermanent. I know that all of the versions of me are impermanent. I used to have great hair. I used to have really curly, Art Garfunkel hair, thick. Little old ladies, I hated this when I was a kid. Little old ladies, oh my God, your hair's so beautiful. I wish I had curly hair like that. I hated it when I was a kid. I hated having curly hair. No one had curly, all the guys would do these cool, they do rat tails and cool parts and all this stuff. And I couldn't do any of it. I just fro, didn't work. And then it all started to fall out. And I also became a Zen teacher, so now I do this. Always different, right? So how do we land the plane, right? Do not judge by any standards. Well, I'm going to do that, right? What's going to come up is I want this, not that. I want him, not her. I want, to get this job, not that job. This is in my comfort zone. This is out of my comfort zone. We're going to literally run across dualities everywhere all the time. So there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to go, right? This is why we have this practice. Is because I can't give you a strategy and have it be of any benefit, right? If I say, do not judge by any standards, and you go, got it, I won't judge by any standards, and you go home and, you thought you were going to hang out and watch a movie with your partner, and instead they've gone to bed. And you're like, oh man, I'm so disappointed. Already, you're judging by a standard, right? So, I mean, what are we going to do? Are we going to be a fundamentalist about this? I don't judge. I don't judge. I'm not judgmental. Look how attained and realized I am, right? Most toxic mind I'm aware of is my own, right? I'm not realized at all, right? I see all kinds of stuff going through there. So, in the face of all of the dualities we're presented with, the reason we sit is because we're practicing the process of being able to see how we're responding to conditions as they emerge in the moment before we respond. That's the secret sauce, right? And I'm strengthening the muscle of responding to life on life's terms. Right? Sounds cliche, but I know several of you have heard this example before, but it's one of my favorites. Because I was having tea with a friend downstairs at the coffee shop, and I ordered an Asiago cheese bagel with cream cheese. And I sat down and I started sipping my tea, and the waitress came over, and her demeanor indicated that she was borderline terrified. And she said, "We're out of Asiago cheese bagels. I'm so sorry." And I said, "If you bring me any bread product at all with cream cheese on it, I'm going to be thrilled. And if you don't have bread, I'll order something else." And she was like, "I think I have a plain bagel." I'm like, "Fabulous. Can't wait to enjoy it." Right? My point is, that's saving all beings. Right? I'm not trying to say that I'm special. I'm trying to say that I'm not special. Right? By being just a true person and in the face of impermanence, in the face of change, in the face of the unexpected, we help others. And why was she terrified? Well, because that's not her normal experience. Her normal experience is that people are stuck and they want what they want and they feel very entitled. And we could go on about COVID and about society today and about all the divisions in our society, but I think the way we heal those is by not judging by any standards. In my day job, I work in the area of addiction treatment, but I work in a role that is, I'm surrounded by people from different political parties all the time. And addiction's not political. There's no Republican or Democrat platform on whether or not we want people to overdose on fentanyl. We don't. We all agree. But folks find a way sometimes to disagree anyway. So that's my hope for you, right? Is take refuge in the Dharma, right? That means take refuge in the teachings. Take refuge in the Sangha. That means take refuge in the community. Take refuge in the Buddha. That means take refuge in your enlightened nature. That last one is in some ways the hardest one, because it's easy to take refuge in other people, and it's easy to listen to profound teachings and feel inspired. It's very difficult to sit with your own emptiness, your own non-fixedness, and to watch it, to let your sticking points come up, right? To cry when you want to cry, and to be anxious when you're anxious, and to sit through what's there. Right? Carl Jung said, if you bring forth what is he said everything in the that was actually the Gospel of Thomas, says if you bring forth what is within you will save you. If you withhold what is within you will destroy you. Carl Jung said everything in the unconscious seeks outward manifestation. Right? Either way, the obstructions want out. They'll come out naturally. You just let them. Just come into this right here and become adept. Become adept at letting what is there, be there. So that when the world comes up, you can let that be there. And then you can authentically respond. And if you do that, you save all beings. So, not a bad deal. Because the karma ripples out literally ripples out to all beings.